Wow. Yo, she was right. Can you text him for me, please?
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay. And then can you share the link, please?
You sent a link?
Oh, to the video, to the live stream.
Yeah.
I hope it lets me save it after. Like save it to my channel. Um, oh, I can share it. Copy link. Oop. All right. Um, send me like a just a letter right now so I could just reply and paste the link. Sorry. I'm being so demanding right now. This is live streaming, I guess. G for green, for abundance and manifestation powers. Listen. Hello guys. Welcome to the first episode, the retake of the podcast. The podcast is a video slash podcast series. Sorry, I'm flustered. A video slash podcast series that I'm starting with the people around me, my friends, my loved ones, because I feel like we need to bring a different a different level to the conversation, like the collective conversation. I think we need a different perspective, a different viewpoint. I think we need to have some. I do have eyebrows, I promise. I think we need to have some very different discussions than we're having, or take things in a different direction, because we're having a lot of the same conversations and we're not really learning anything new. And I feel like we need to have certain conversations and learn how to look at things from different aspects in order to create solutions, workable solutions for, everyday people. So, episode 1, babes, what's the first?
We were saying self love and motivation.
All right, self-love and motivation is the first topic. Um Self-love is very important because if you love yourself, your energy is a certain way, your vibration is set a certain way, and it attracts things in that same vibration. So if you feel good about yourself, you feel beautiful, you feel, powerful, you feel intriguing, you feel like you can attract anything, like anything that you want can be yours. You are setting yourself up very clearly to get everything that you want. When you love yourself, when you exude that vibration, that's what you do. That also leads into manifestation as well. Like, you can manifest more when you love yourself. You can do more with your life when you love yourself, because you have your foundation set. um when you don't love yourself, a lot of the time you can run into problems where people will see that you don't love yourself and they will pick at your insecurities. They'll pick at your flaws, they'll pick at the weakest parts of you, they'll make you feel vulnerable, they'll make you feel ugly, unloved, disgusting, all of these things, because they have a deep-seated issue within themselves. And in turn, hurt people. So you end up with cycles of people who are just brutalizing each other on an emotional and mental level. Not even getting into the physical, but on an emotional and mental level. Like, people are really abusing each other because they don't know how to love themselves. Like, that shit is so crazy. But that's what that is. So a lot of the journey is learning that no one in this world is perfect. No one in this world has it all together. No one in this world is 100% at every single thing. No matter how, cool they may appear on Instagram or Facebook or Twitter, it does not matter. We've seen with some of the celebrity suicides that have happened even just in the last 2 days. What was it? Bourdain and Kate Spade. Like, these people are billionaires. These people are rich. These people are rich, and that's not enough, because that's not enough, you know. Like, you have to be secure in yourself, you know. You have to get to a point where, regardless of who comes in, who comes out, you know, no matter what's going on, at the end of the day, you know that you're okay, because you've got yourself. You know for a fact that you can handle whatever comes at you, because you know that you've been through it. You understand that you can tackle that. You understand what your capabilities are. You understand, you know, what it is that you can do on a different capacity, you know? And
I mean, I also feel like people want to know how to like achieve self love too, because a lot of
mhm.
people always want that guidebook or that step by step.
Mhm.
But you know, you got to realize everyone's different, how they approach that, how they feel about that.
Exactly. Cuz a lot of the time, you know, if you want to figure out where to find where you need to love yourself more, what parts of other people do you not like? What are the
Mm-hmm.
traits of the people around you that stab at you the most? Because the people around you are a mirror image of you. You know, even if you don't see it, they're mirroring something that's within you. Whether it's, you know, a product of your, whether you're a product of your environment or not, you know, they're mirroring something within you. So what is it that you don't like? And then think about instances where you've exhibited those behaviors that you don't like. Because once you figure it out, if you do exhibit those behaviors, you're going to start noticing in the moment when you're doing things that make you feel like you're less than,
Exactly.
like you're lowering yourself to do certain things. You know, if you're like gossiping about people and you're trying to belittle people, and like if you're, you know, stealing with people, and like that shit makes you feel sick inside, but you're doing it just for the laughs, like, you know, that's not that's not loving yourself, you know. If you back into my car, you son of a bitch. Anyway.
And another thing about loving yourself is like being able to stand in your flaws too. Like
Yes.
all of the weird things that you want to hide from people, like shit like that, you have to you have to accept and cherish all of it. You have to love all of it because that's what makes you you. And it's like a corny repetition of quotes because people say
Mhm.
that all the time, like yo, be yourself and things like that. But it's really true. Like you have to be yourself. Like you can't
Yes.
fake the funk, as some people might call it. Like you got to be you and accept your weirdness because
Your
it's
weirdness
you and
is
it's
what makes
beautiful.
people love you, you know?
Exactly. Not wanting to be everybody else is what makes you special and beautiful in that way. Like,
Yes. I like.
and it's not easy either
No, it's
doing
not
that.
easy, but the thing is, nothing in life that's really worth it is ever easy. Right? Right? You know,
Very true.
like anything that's really worth getting is gonna be a bitch to try to get. Anything that's worth getting is gonna be a bitch to try to get. But, you know, you have to decide whether or not that's worth it for you, you know? And you have to decide whether the alternative is actually a workable, livable solution for you to, you know, take on. Because I don't know, for me personally, when it came to one of the issues that I had with self love is I was always living for other people. I was always
Mm,
doing what other people wanted me to do and never really doing things because this is what I want. And I know that for a fact because I sat with myself and thought about all the possibilities, including not this one, and this was the best one. No, I was doing it because, listen, I'm in school because my mom said, hey, I'm doing a video. Yeah, it's okay. But, you know, I was like, oh, this, that, and the third. I went to school. I was in school and doing that just because, whatchamacallit, just because my mom wanted me to be and all that. And it was just like, all these things that I was doing, they didn't really serve me in the ways that I needed them to. They just, you know, they were the things that other people wanted me to do that seemed that they would bring me to success eventually. So I just made plans according to those timelines, and I could not abide by those timelines. Like, it was so bad. It was so bad. Like things in my life when I was trying to focus and do things the way that other people wanted me to do, the whole like, you need money to go to school because you can't, this person, nobody's going to pay for your schooling other than you. Oh, okay. So now you got to try to get a college education while working, part-time to full-time job. You got to do this. You got to, ooh, you got
Okay.
to do that. Like all this shit. It's just, it's like so much. It is so much. Like, and the thing is, when I really stopped to think about it, I never realized the way that my body was telling me that that wasn't the right path for me. My body was screaming out to me that that wasn't the right path. Like there was a point there was a point where I kept getting sick. Like before I got into college, like I always had like a heavy period or heavy cramps, but when I was about to go into college, my cramps got heavier than they ever were in my life. Like, okay. But what's interesting that I never really realized until I stopped to think about it? My cramps would go away when my cramps would actually, like, they weren't as strong when I wasn't in school. That was the crazy part. That was the crazy part. The migraines that I had, I would rarely get them outside of school. The tonsillitis was always linking up with stress regarding school or paying for school. Like the mental health issues regarding school, like all of these things. Like, and we have you ever stopped to think that,
The bag.
oh, and have you ever stopped to think that maybe if your body is screaming out to you that you're in an environment is screaming out to you like that, maybe you're in an environment that you're not really supposed to be in.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you're in an environment that, you know I don't know, maybe you're in an environment where you are actually being harmed. Like it is actually sapping at your life force, at your energy. Maybe that's the case instead. And that was the case for me. And when I got out of that stage, when I got out of that space, when I actually got out of that and realized what that was and I accepted that, like I haven't felt any heaviness on my chest. Like that shit was so crazy to me because I was really suicidal in school and I haven't had suicidal thoughts since I gave up on the idea of school. Like, what? Like even just the slight ones, like, oh my god, like I have a paper due tonight. I'm just gonna drive off a cliff. I'm just gonna
Yo, honestly.
I'm going. Listen, I have 3 papers due tonight and I didn't write any of them. I'm just gonna drive into the ocean, tell my mother I love her, and the insurance is in my sister's name. Like, what? Come on. Like I'm not, but that's the thing, like I don't even think like that anymore. Like I can make jokes like lightheartedly like that, but there was a time when I really used to mean that shit, and I don't mean that anymore. Like that's funny to me. That's just like light humor. And that's because I'm doing things now that actually do serve me. I'm going into spaces, I'm taking on certain things and they actually do serve me. They do serve a purpose, a clear purpose. I'm putting the pieces together and I'm understanding why it is that I'm doing certain things and what it is that my purpose is and how that falls in line with the people around me and the situations that I'm in. And because of that, I have self-love. Because I love myself, I'm not going to put myself in certain situations because it just doesn't make sense. That's not where I'm supposed to be. You know, like I'm not going to be around certain people because I'm just not supposed to be around certain people.
Exactly.
Like I'm not going to go certain places because that's not my fucking scene. Like I'm not supposed to be there. Like that's low vibrational. Like the energy there is dull. Like that shit's going to drag me down. Like I'm good. Like super good. Like I know where I'm supposed to be and where I'm not supposed to be. And it's definitely changed my life for the better. you know I look kind of messy just because, dark circles because of life, but hey, that's nothing the concealer can't fix another day because it's hot, so not today. Um, we hit 1444. So what's the self-love and motivation? What about motivation do you feel?
That's entirely up to you.
Because I don't know. Like,
Because, you know, I mean, there's in the
it's
sense that, like, no one can force you to get off your ass when it comes to your goals, your dreams, or anything like that. Even
that's
little
true.
tasks like doing laundry, like, you know? You
Yeah.
have to take on the mindset that you're responsible for yourself.
Mm.
And you got to get your shit done. You got to make your money. You got to get this degree. You got to get this. You got to get that. Like, you got to make sure that you're on your own ass.
Yeah.
And I realized that growing up, like, you know, as opposed to where I am now, based on where I was as a kid, when my mom would make me do my homework or my mom would make me do this.
Mm.
You're grown and you're on your own now. So you got to make sure you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. So you got to make sure you're reaching like where you want to go, but you have to push yourself because anybody could be yelling in your face and you'll be like, okay.
Yep.
Like back to the saying, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't
Can't
make it
make them
drink.
drink. And that's
Like,
a very, very, very valid point that you just made with, like, you have to take responsibility for yourself.
mm-hmm.
And one of the things about personal responsibility is that it requires accountability. You know,
Exact. Oh
it
my
really requires
The most
accountability.
important lessons you could possibly fucking learn. I
Like,
promise you.
okay, let's talk in astrological terms for a second, real quick. Let's confuse the people. All right, do you have a Virgo in your life? Ask them what they think you need to work on.
And they'll let you
They'll
know.
let you know.
They'll give you a step-by-step PowerPoint with lists.
Listen, with
Multiple
lists, bitch.
Multiple lists.
Yo, with bullet points, and then they'll explain it in a way where it's like it's clear cut. Like, listen, if you're not ready to actually do this, don't ask your Virgo friend for don't ask your Virgo friend about shit.
Mm-hmm.
Don't ask your Virgo friend or your Scorpio friend. Don't ask them. Or your Aquarius friend. Don't ask them. Like, but if you're actually ready to make changes for yourself, like take personal responsibility,
Mm-hmm.
and you're not really sure where to start, ask your Virgo friend, because everybody's got a friend that's a Virgo. Even if they don't know them that well, spend a week with them and then ask them to tell you where you need to work on yourself, and they will tell you.
And they won't be wrong.
They won't be wrong at all. And that's the thing. You have to be very, not very critical, but you have to be very discerning. Like, you have to look at yourself in real terms. You can't bullshit yourself. You know, you can't lie to
Mm-hmm.
yourself about it. You got to be 100% fucking real, even if it hurts. Listen, it hurts. Now, what do you want to do about it?
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to sit in the hurt? Do you want to continue hurting yourself? Like, do you want to make the wound deeper? Do you want to make it hurt more? Or do you want to get the fuck up and move? Do you want to get up and heal? Do you want to get up, heal, and move on with your fucking life? The choice is yours. But at the end of the day, like, you have to at least, you have to, what is the first step in like AA meetings? Like, you have to admit that you have a problem with this. You have to acknowledge that you have an issue with this. It's getting fucking darker. I could turn the flash on. Can I? Let me enable flash. Ooh, beach. But the light is so bright. What was I saying before?
We were talking about accountability. Yes. It hurts. What do you want to do about it?
Yes. Like, it hurts. What do you want to do about it? Like, if somebody slaps you in the face, dead across your face in public, you could stop and think, oh, wow, my face hurts. But what the fuck are you going to do about it?
This is so crazy.
That's the decision.
Exactly. And I was talking to somebody about this the other day.
Mm-hmm.
And they were like, oh, all the pain in my life, all the shit that goes on, I just eat it. I just take it and say what's next. So if someone walked up to you and punched you in the face, you're going to eat it and wait for them to punch you again. You're not going to move around. You're not going to head back. You're not going to be like, oh shit, how do I bounce back? Like, you're just going to sit there and keep taking the beating.
And that's the thing. Like, if you're discerning, all right, here's how your Virgo friend would dissect the situation. Watch this. All right, so what were you doing? So where were you? Okay, you were where with who? Okay, and what were you guys doing there? Okay. Wait, so this motherfucker just came up to you and punched you dead in your fucking face? Wait, so what did you do? What do you mean you didn't do shit? The fuck? Yo.
Exactly.
First of all, listen, no. Where is this motherfucker?
Exactly.
Hold on.
And that's
You
the
got
thing
a
about
video? I'll
Virgos.
find him. I
That's the
might know
thing.
somebody that knows him.
Exactly.
Like,
That's the thing about Virgos. Like, they'll reflect your logic back to you,
mm-hmm.
your
And
thought
then,
process.
and the way that they ask the questions, it's like, it's irritating but necessary. Like, it's irritating but necessary because it makes you really, you have to stop and think. You can't just fly off your ass. Like, you can't fly by the seat of your pants with that. Like, you have to really stop, think. Wait, that's how I feel? Do I really feel like that? Does that really make sense? Because when a Virgo says some shit back out loud to you, you're going to be like, wait, that's what I
Ah.
said? Wait, that's what I said? Well, no, I don't mean it like that. Then how do you, like, you got to take a step back. Take a step back and think about it. You know, figure out what it is that you want to do about that. Okay, now you acknowledge that you have a problem. Okay, so what are we going to do? You're going to find this motherfucker and beat his ass? Weigh out the pros and cons of that. Long-term benefits, long-term, detriment. And then, do you want to leave it alone? And the next time somebody comes up to you like that, punch them back in the fucking face? Or, like, you can figure out options and game plan from there based off of what you like to do, what your personality is, what your fighting style is, your Mars energy. Fighting style. Well, yeah. And then,
But that's the thing. You don't sit there. You think
yes.
about it and you bounce back.
And
Like,
you
you don't
have to
sit in that.
act. You can't just sit and wallow in that and play the victim.
Because you're going to get your
That's,
ass beat.
yo, listen, that's another thing. Let's talk about playing the victim because we need to talk about this. Okay. Victim blaming and
Yikes.
asking a victim to take accountability for themselves, they have a very, very, very thin distance. Like, paper, like, listen, as skinny as an eyelash, Mariah Carey skinny, that's how skinny the difference is. And that's where the line is. Like, that's where that shit gets a little bit dicey. But okay, as a Pisces who has played the victim and been the victim and sat in that role and has come out of that now, can I say it's a choice? It is a choice. You can choose to get up and get out of it.
Yeah.
Like, at any moment, like at any day, any time, at any day, you can choose to get out of that and make plans and make decisions on how to get out of that. Like, you okay, if somebody does something to you, that is not your fault. Usually, unless you provoked it. That only goes for certain situations though, because let's not get into semantics. Let's not boil specifics because honestly, I don't have the time because my point still stands regardless. Like, you can't control what other people do to you. Period. Point blank. So whatever they do to you, that's what they did to you. Period.
Mm-hmm.
But what you do about it is 100% in your control. So if you take that and you stay in the situation, or you stay in certain circumstances, or you stay around certain people knowing that you can't trust them, or you stay around, in a certain job knowing that they don't care about you that much, like they're just, listen, as soon as you get sick for too long, for too many days, listen, you take too many sick days in a row, your ass is going to be replaced the next week. Like, listen, you if you know, then so if you know better, do better. If you don't do better, then that's your choice. You decided that you wanted to stay in that position. At a certain point, you have to get fed up with where you are and know that you deserve better and know that this isn't right for you, and then move forward. Like, you have to move into something else. You have to want something different for yourself. If you have no drive, if you have no, like, none of that, then, of course, it's very easy to stay in a victim situation. If you have somebody that's always beating down on you, or a group of people that are always beating down on you, especially if it's family, especially if it's, your like your significant other, especially, like, it doesn't matter. Even if it's your friends, if you have friends that fucking bully you and shit and make you feel like shit, like, bitch, block their number. The fuck? Like, this person comes to your house because they have a key, change your locks. You know, a Jimmy Proof deadbolt is like less than $20 at Home Depot.
Okay.
A Jimmy Proof deadbolt, they can't pick that shit because it's gonna lock up. Like, you gotta take it off the door now. They can't get in. So it is not hard to ghost
Like, you
people.
have
It's not
options.
hard to disappear on people. Like, it is not hard to get your shit together and dip. It is not hard to say no. You just have to want it bad enough. Like, if you wanted it, you would say it. No matter how hard your heart is pounding, you would fucking say it because you're fed up. You have to get to that point. And once you get to that point, it's very easy to move in that.
Mm-hmm.
It's very easy to move in that because, you have to look at it as a choice. Like, I can choose to let this person treat me like this, or I can choose to do something else.
Mm-hmm.
I remember when I was younger, and I do this now still, like, whenever there's a situation where something's going on that I don't like, I always think through the whole list of possibilities, all the list of consequences that could come from a certain set of actions. If this person does this person just did this, I could say this, and then they would probably say this back, and then I'd probably fucking cut them with my words, and then I'd cuss them out again, and then they'd probably cry, and then they would get tight and come back and try to put nails under my tire, and then I'd try to beat them up, like, and then I'd probably get the cops called on me because they're that fucking petty. Is it worth it? Do I want to do that? When you disengage and just turn the music up because people are talking and you're just this close, this close to cussing someone out. Yeah. You stop falling into that. Like, I'm sorry, I'm not doing that. Because the thing with playing with the victim abuser dynamic, the roles, even though they stay usually firmly in place, the appearance of the roles can change often. The abuser has a tendency, especially if they're more of a narcissistic type, they have a tendency to play victim and turn the appearance of the other person who is the actual victim into the abuser. Oh, you didn't spend enough time with me, so I did this, that, and the third. Um, oh, you didn't, you weren't paying close enough attention to me. You were looking at that man in the grocery store for a little bit too long when you glanced up at me. What? You mean the person that was directly behind you, that moved behind you, that I was making sure didn't, like, steal your wallet or something? You think that? Huh? I don't know. I don't know. Um, I don't know. Yeah, that's all I have to say about that one. Um, Other topics, other ideas of what we want to talk about?
Mm-hmm. General growth, maybe?
Growth.
Growth in general?
Growth is painful. Did you guys ever have growth spurts growing up?
I did, but I never felt them.
I
Strangely
don't
enough.
remember how they felt, but I remember that those shits hurt like a motherfucker. I remember I had to stay home from school one day because I was having growth spurts. And my legs were hurting so badly. I started getting stretch marks on my legs because I got tall. I'm 5'8", but I got tall pretty young. So, like, my legs were hurting like a motherfucker. And that's what growth is. Like, growth doesn't happen in your comfort zone. Growth isn't really comfortable. Like, you grow because you have to,
Mm-hmm.
not really always because you want to. But if you make the choice to grow, then that shifts everything. The pain that comes with it, you understand why that is, and you can move through it faster. You move through it differently. You understand it, you internalize it, you process it, you release it, you let it the fuck go, and you release attachment and you move on. And then all of a sudden, you have space in your life for something beautiful. You have space in your life for exactly whatever it is that you wanted. And you know, that's worth more to me than my comfort zone. Because, you know, your comfort zone is a temporary place. You know that, right? Just like rock bottom. Rock bottom is not somewhere that you're meant to stay. There are peaks and valleys in life. Rock bottom is a valley, not a ditch. It's a valley. And, you know, our comfort zone is maybe a peak, maybe a mountain somewhere. But you don't just stay on one. It's mountains and valleys, mountains and valleys, mountains and valleys. Like it's constantly up and down. Like you got to just enjoy the flow because you know where you are now. You've been here before. You know this energy. You know how to operate through this. You know how to do this. And then you go. And then you just remember what it is that you need to remember whenever you're in that space. You know, you can look back on, like, I don't know if anybody else, like, I know a lot of people that used to write in journals and diaries and shit. If you ever used to write in one of those when you were younger and you're going through a headspace where you feel a lot like when you were in that time, read back on your journals through that time so you can see the level of growth in your mindset since then. You'll see where it is that you fucked up back then, and you'll know where to make changes now. It may take some contemplation. It may take you going within and consulting your intuition, like feeling it out, weighing each option out. You may have to think about it for a while. They have different binaural beats on YouTube for different issues, such as like releasing fear and anxiety, like overcoming mental blockages and things of that nature, problem solving. So definitely look up one of those, play those in the background while you think about these things and process these things. And they definitely help a lot. Because I remember one night I was so mad, I woke up out of my sleep. I was so mad about something so fucking stupid. I woke up out of my sleep and I played a binaural beat and I was asleep again within an hour because I processed through everything. And I was up and tossing and turning for like a couple of hours before I finally put that on. And in an hour, I was knocked out. Out cold. Asleep. Good night. Haha. But yeah, growth is uncomfortable, but it's worth it. It's worth it. Because you get to see yourself blossom into something more than you ever thought you could have ever been, than anybody around you thought you could have ever been. And, you know, you get to prove the people wrong who said that you weren't going to be shit. You know, you get to prove to yourself that you're actually worthy of the things that you have in your life, that you're actually worthy of the gifts and the talents that you have. And you get to bless other people around you. You know, it's pretty worth it, I feel. What were the other topics? A shorter one, maybe like a lighter one.
Um,
You got anything back there, buddy?
uh,
I don't know. I'm just laughing at those guys over there.
Okay.
wearing glasses maybe.
Oh, wearing glasses.
Oh
Wearing
my
glasses
God.
sucks.
It sucks ass. You
Yo,
can't lay down.
bitch, listen. Yo, you know the worst part? When
No,
you're
it
so
doesn't. I
fucking
like
hot.
glasses.
Listen, when you're hot and when it's hot outside or cold outside, it doesn't even fucking matter.
It doesn't.
You get out of the shower after you washed your fucking hair. Doesn't matter if you have a towel on your head or not. You go put your fucking glasses on your face just so you can see to find your fucking deodorant. And bitch, your whole glasses fog up. You can't even see.
You're not seeing shit.
You can't see. You can't even see out of these prescription lenses that you fucking paid for?
Like,
If it's hot, if it's cold, when they get dirty in the morning. Listen, I clean my glasses before I go to bed. I try to. Just at least wipe them off and then set them down. When I put my glasses, I forget, sometimes I'm human, like, but when I take up my glasses in the morning and I put them on my face, right? And I put my glasses on like right before I put my shoes on. Like I'm out the door going because I don't like to wear my glasses that much anymore. But I'm not getting contacts because I'm not sticking things in my eye. It's just not happening. I'm not trying to deal with all of those eye drops and dry eye issues. I can't. But yo, you'll go in the car and you're like, why can't I see? Why can't I see the road? You take off your glasses, it's filthy. You're there wondering how you don't have pink eye.
yo, there's so much debris on that. Like shit
Listen,
that shouldn't even be getting on your glasses. Like, how did this get on my glasses?
What is this?
What is this?
Yo, there's like a little piece of fucking, there's like a little spot from like the milk that you put in your coffee this morning. But mind you, you don't even understand how that happened because your milk and your glasses weren't even next to each other. So now you're there pondering, what the fuck is going on? Like, how do I have shit on my glasses? And like, do my glasses travel? These niggas, they get up and on their legs and they walk. Like, I don't know. But we're about to turn off the lights and then decide what we're going to talk about. Turn off the lights and light a candle. Let's see. Say what? Okay. All right. All right. Glasses. How? Oh, and when your glasses break, if you sit on your glasses and they're crooked, and then you can't fix them anymore. Like, it doesn't, yo, especially if you just got it. Listen, let's not talk about insurance with getting glasses. You can only get a pair every 2 years.
Yo.
Even though they want you to go to the eye doctor every year. How that math work, fam?
But the part that gets me the most is like laying down on your bed. Like, you can't even like
lay on
watch
your bed
TV from across the room, laying down without that shit being about to crack, like about to get crooked, and you're like, okay.
It's so bad.
And like, having glasses is almost akin to having a child. Like, you gotta make sure you're not doing crazy shit. And you're in the gym, you gotta make sure they're not sliding off your face from the sweat. You go to the pool, you gotta make sure you take them off so they don't get lost in the pool.
Yo, you gotta make sure you bring your glasses case that you got when you first got your glasses that you never used again after that, because it has your one good glasses cloth from Robbins Eye Centers or Walmart or some shit. Got your one good one because you always use your t-shirt because you can't keep track of them shits. Like, but your glasses case, it takes up too much space in your purse unless you're doing like the absolute most and keeping other shit in there.
Oh, you're live right now?
Yeah.
Still?
I mean,